This video is presented by Sailrite. In this video, we'll be showing you how to make an air conditioner cover from SurLast fabric from Sailrite. Let's get started and show you how.
I'm going to make a cover here for this air conditioner.
First thing to do is take some measurements.
You want to oversize it by about 1 inch.
An inch on both sides.
It looks like maybe 26.5 inch on either side. Okay, 26.5. It should be about the same both ways. Hey, we got a square one. So we're 26.5 by 26.5. Okay, that's our top measurement. Now we need our sides. And what we're going to do here is make a slit up. So we want to know.
The slit will accommodate for the pipes.
You can go from your cement pad. You can make it a little bit longer, a little bit shorter, however you want to make the covers fine. But I'm just going to even mine down on the cement pad here. Come up to the top. I'm 25 inches.
Write that measurement down as well.
And we want to make sure that the slit, when it's finished, is 10 inches above the bottom.
This slit will accommodate the pipes, and that's where our pipes stop.
So we're going to have a seam coming on the corner that we'll have it sewn shut, and then right about in here, we'll stop sewing it. We'll leave that open, and we'll come down around those pipes with a line through the hem, and we'll tie it off there, and that'll anchor the whole cover down. So we want to make sure and mark that for 10 inches up.
Write these measurements on your piece of paper.
Got the little drawing here, so we want 10 inches up from the bottom. We need to have the slit open for the pipes coming out. Okay, now we're inside with our fabric.
We're going to use a fabric called SurLast. It's great for abrasion resistance, and it's also UV resistant. Great for covers like this.
Okay, so our top is 26.5 by 26.5.
When we measured, we added 1 inch to all sides of the top, so we don't have to modify it.
So what we need to do here is we want to do a double hem on the bottom here. So we actually want to add 2 inches to the bottom for the double hem, which we're going to put our line in. And then you'll need a 1/2 inch added on for your seams where it sews to the top again. So 25 to 27.5.
The air conditioner cover will have 4 side panels and 1 top panel. Deb added 2.5 inches to each one of the side panels as far as their height measurement. That way she can put a double hem in the bottom, and that will create a sleeve for the leech line to run through. So 2 inches is for the hem, and the 1/2 inch is for the seam allowance that will be taken up in adding the top to the side panels. Now just mark your fabric with the appropriate measurements for your air conditioner cover. We're just using a pencil here and obviously a long ruler. This SurLast fabric by Glen Raven Mills is very good for abrasion resistant covers and UV resistant covers, and it is even water resistant.
Okay, now I've got the panels drawn in. I put a 2-inch line, broken line. That way I know where my cut lines are and where my hem lines are. What I do here is on the 2-inch to get hems on them, which should be the outside 4 panels, I measure up 2 inches because I'm going to fold this up to make a 1 inch, and then when it gets folded up again, it'll be a double hem, but it'll only use 2 inches of the fabric because the bottom of the cover will fall there. And the top of it is square, so we don't have any markings on that at all. And now we want to come down here, and on the 2 panels where we're going to end up with the slit for the pipes to come through. Remember, we want to end up 10 inches above where the bottom edge is going to finish. So what's going to happen is this is going to fold up to that line, and then again. So that way you'll have a double hem that our line's going to run through. So we need to measure up 10 inches from this point. And since there's 2 panels side by side here, we're just going to go ahead. And from this point up 10 inches, we want to mark it on both panels. Going across here. So that when we sew them together, we're going to seam a 1/2 inch together there, and then we're going to do some back stitches to hold it, and then we'll just do a layover, a 1/2 inch opening here, and that way it'll have a finished edge on it, but yet it'll be open enough for those pipes to come through, and then we'll tie it underneath.
Now simply cut the SurLast fabric with a pair of shears. It's not really necessary to use a hot knife. There won't be much unraveling that happens with the SurLast fabric. It is true, a hot knife will help to seal the edges, but it's not necessary. Now here it is with all the panels laid out. The 4 sides. You can see here that mark for the 10-inch measurement, which allows the tubing or pipes to come through. You'll notice that the SurLast fabric has a urethane coating on the inside. The opposite side without the coating should be the outside of the fabric. We'll now determine the length of the drawstring.
Okay, now we're going to want to put a lease line in the bottom to use for the drawstring to pull it tight around the bottom of the air conditioner. You would have to add all 4 sides together if they're not the same amount, whatever they are. So you need where you put your hem at. Add all those lengths together plus 2 feet, and you should have plenty. I'm going to go ahead and sew all the side seams together on the side panels, and then we'll sew it to the top panel. And then we have this one, so we just only want to do the 1/2 inch seam down to this line, and we want to take some back stitches there. And we'll do that one first, get that one out of the way. Just lay them face to face.
The outside surface is facing each other.
So your 1/2 inch all the way down. Take some back stitches at the top, down to your knot. Back stitches there. Okay, so there's where we had our 10-inch mark. We're going to take these down and just hem them over 1/2 inch like that on both sides, just so it's got a finished edge. You can base this down or pin it if you need to.
Sailrite sells a basting tape or seam stick. It's part number 129. You can pre-baste panels or seams or hems together prior to sewing to help hold them in place.
Do all your seaming here before you do your hemming, or else you'll sew shut what you need to have open to your line coming through for tying it off. Okay, and then we're coming up to our split. And just come up here, take a few back stitches. You can actually just put that seam open, take some back stitches there to help hold it, secure it so it doesn't start getting unsewn or break in any way. And then just come down the other side, some back stitches. Now we have a nice finished edge where our pipes are going to be coming out of. And that's out of the way, so we can sew the rest of the panels on.
Each of the panels are laying so the outside surfaces are facing each other.
You want to do all your panels together before you do your double hem for your line to go through.
Notice that Deb works down at the opposite end to make sure the panel is completely even. You could use the double-sided tape here to pre-baste the panels together if you like prior to sewing. It's your choice. She'll now sew the last of the 4 panels on. You can see here in the video that line we marked 2 inches from the edge where we'll create that hem for the sleeve. Obviously those should all be on the same edge. Now all 4 panels are sewn together. Now we just need to join them up to create a box. Alright, it's pretty self-explanatory. I think we can move on from here. Just sew down that length.
We have a square box together. Split its bottom. Then we want to put our top in. So we're just going to start sewing a 1/2 inch all the way around. When you get to the corner here, you just stop at your 1/2 inch, and then we'll turn and turn and turn and turn. Never done before, you know.
The outside surface of that top panel is facing down. Notice what Deb does here when she gets to the corner. She'll bury her needle, lift the foot, pivot on the needle that's buried in the fabric, reposition the fabric, lower the foot, and then continue to sew. Nice way to make a 90-degree turn like this. You'll also notice that she's careful to match up each of the corners prior to sewing down that entire length. That way you get the panel on just right. Again, if you want to use double-sided tape, part number 129, you can do that to pre-base the panels together prior to sewing. Alright, we're going to skip ahead a little bit here and come to the end right here. And that completes the sewing of the top. There we go.
Okay, now we're going to do our double hem, and we're going to fold it up to the line and then over again, but we want to have our line in there while we're doing that. So we'll just kind of push the corners in on this cover, help it sit out, the edges are down. Okay, and this is our slit here. So what we want to do is go your line, and we should have at least a foot hanging off. So what we're going to do is fold that up to the line, fold it up again, and then we're going to stitch right at the top edge of that hem there, and then your line will be loose in here to tighten it.
Deb's very good at creating a beautiful hem without using basting tape or pins. But if you choose, you can use basting tape or pins to hold everything in place prior to sewing.
In here, the edge to your mark, fold it over. Again, you can use seam stick or pins if you feel more comfortable with it. Feel the line inside there too, and you want to make sure that that's of course pushed down toward the bottom so you don't skip over it.
If you don't use pins or basting tape, just go about every 4 or 5 inches and then do exactly as Deb is doing in the video here. Fold it to that line and continue sewing. We'll not show the rest of this here, but we sew all around the perimeter. Here's the end of it. And you'll notice at the end she does some reversing to lock her stitch in place. Okay, there, and then you have a really
nice finished edge. Okay, now one other thing that you might want to do is, this is real loose because you want to be able to tighten it up here. But actually could be pulled through. We don't want to do that, so what I suggest is just come back to where the corner is or somewhere, and we're just going to do some back stitches there. That way when you go to tension it out, it's not going to pull in through the other end, or when you take it off to store it for the summer while you're using the air conditioner, it's not going to pull out. So just anywhere on one of these center parts, so make sure that you've got at least a foot hanging off to do your tying with, and then come back through and we'll do some back stitches. So you can feel that line inside of there. So just kind of push it up to where you've got it in the center of the hem there. I'm going to do it where I got a thickness of seams right there. And then just go through it back and forth. Just like that, and then that'll be sure to where you won't have to pull your line out. You've got plenty to gather it up. Okay, now we're back out here with our cover and our split. We'll go on the back corner pipe.
This is a good fit. You don't want it to be super tight. You want it to be fairly loose like this, so all of our measurements were appropriate. And then we'll just tie it around those pipes, and she's ready for the long winter coming.
Where the pipes were before. Just bring your line down underneath of there. You can cinch up the sides, go up underneath of the air conditioner, and then just take your line, tie it together. And tuck your line up under the cover, and you're ready for winter. And we keep all that snow off it.
The next day, we got snow. I'm Eric Grant with Sailrite. Thanks for watching this video, and enjoy making your air conditioner cover from SurLast fabric from Sailrite. Bye-bye.